Imagine for a moment a creature of the night with glowing red eyes and the wings of a moth terrorizing a small town. This isn't the plot of a horror movie, but a chilling legend that has haunted the town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia since the 1960s. They call it the Mothman. Enveloped in mystery and fear, the Mothman is more than just an unsettling apparition. It's a harbinger of disaster, a spectral warning sign that has, over the years, become inextricably linked to catastrophic events. From the shadows, it silently observes, its glowing eyes a beacon in the dark, a sign of impending doom. It all started in the mid-20th century, in the quiet corners of West Virginia, where the boundary between the natural and the supernatural often blurs. A town gripped by fear, a prophecy of doom, and a legend that refuses to die. This is the chilling tale of the Mothman prophecies. Our story begins on a cold November night in 1966. In the quiet town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, two young couples were about to experience something that would change their lives forever. Roger and Linda Scarberry, along with Steve and Mary Millette, were taking a leisurely drive near an old abandoned TNT plant when they spotted something peculiar. Suddenly, in the beam of their car's headlights, a creature emerged. It stood nearly 7 feet tall, its body humanoid, but its eyes were like nothing they had ever seen before. Two glowing red orbs piercing the darkness, instilling an indescribable fear into their hearts. Its wings, large and foreboding, spanned wider than any bird they had ever seen. This wasn't any creature they were familiar with. This was something entirely different, something supernatural. The couples, paralyzed with fear, watched as the creature spread its wings and took off into the night sky. They quickly fled, speeding away in their car, but to their horror, the creature followed, matching their speed effortlessly. The terror was so palpable, they could almost taste it. It was a chase they would never forget, as they raced to escape the clutches of this horrifying creature. When they finally reached the safety of town, they immediately reported their encounter to the local police. The news spread like wildfire, gripping the small town in fear. The creature was dubbed the Mothman, a name that would soon become synonymous with the supernatural. The aftermath was just as terrifying as the encounter itself. The couples were plagued with nightmares, their sleep haunted by the glowing red eyes of the creature. Their lives were forever changed, the tranquility of their small town shattered by the presence of the Mothman. The encounter with the Mothman was just the first of many, marking the beginning of a series of strange events that would envelop the town of Point Pleasant. The Mothman was no longer just a creature of myth and legend. It was now a terrifying reality. Little did they know this was just the beginning. As word spread, more sightings emerged, and a town fell into fear. The whispers of the Mothman soon bloomed into a deafening roar. Each day, more and more townsfolk reported sightings of the ominous winged creature, its crimson eyes searing into their very souls. The community of Point Pleasant was no longer the same. It was now a theater of the supernatural, playing out a chilling drama that had every resident on edge. The once bustling town square was now eerily quiet, its inhabitants preferring the safety of their homes over the uncertainty that lay outside. The local diner, a place that once echoed with laughter and chatter, was now filled with hushed conversations and anxious glances. The fear was palpable, a shroud that hung heavy over the town, its weight felt by every man, woman, and child. Schools were emptied as parents kept their children home, too afraid to let them out of sight. Local businesses suffered as people stopped venturing out after dark. The vibrant, lively town was now a shadow of its former self, its streets barren and its buildings silent. The town's fear was not unfounded. Reports of livestock disappearing in the dead of night became all too common. Strange noises, unexplainable phenomena, and an overall sense of dread plagued the town. Every rustle in the bushes, every flicker of a shadow, every unusual sound was attributed to the Mothman, turning the town into a hotbed of paranoia. Yet, despite the fear, the townsfolk showed remarkable resilience. They banded together in their shared fear, looking out for each other and standing united in the face of the unknown. Amid the chaos, A strange sense of camaraderie arose, born out of a shared ordeal. But this was not the end. Rather, it was just the beginning of a saga that would forever change the course of this small town's history. The eerie sightings, the whispers of the unknown, the town living in fear, it was all leading up to something bigger, something far more terrifying. But the worst was yet to come. Then, in December 1967, the unthinkable happened. A routine day in the small town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, turned into a nightmare as the Silver Bridge, a vital link connecting the town to Ohio, suddenly collapsed during the evening rush hour. The bridge, named for its silver paint, was filled with cars and people, all unsuspecting of the impending disaster. In a matter of moments, the once bustling bridge was swallowed by the icy waters of the Ohio River. The tragedy claimed the lives of 46 people, with many others injured and scarred for life. The collapse was swift, and the rescue efforts were hampered by the cold winter weather, making it one of the deadliest bridge failures in US history. But what makes this event particularly chilling is the supernatural element that was reportedly witnessed by some residents just before the collapse. Numerous accounts suggested that the infamous Mothman, a creature of local legend, was seen near the Silver Bridge shortly before the disaster. The Mothman, a creature described as standing 7 feet tall with glowing red eyes and massive wings, had been haunting the residents of Point Pleasant for over a year. Its presence was always associated with feelings of dread and impending doom. The sightings near the bridge that fateful day were no different. Some say they saw the creature on the bridge itself, while others claim to have spotted it flying overhead, casting a dark shadow over the doomed structure. These sightings led to speculation that the Mothman was either a harbinger of the tragedy or somehow directly involved in causing it. The Silver Bridge collapse was a devastating event, one that left an indelible mark on the town of Point Pleasant. The connection between the Mothman and the disaster has been debated for decades, adding an eerie layer to an already tragic event. Could there be a connection between Mothman and the bridge disaster? The question lingers, adding a chilling footnote to the haunting tale of the Mothman prophecies. The Mothman, a harbinger of doom, or just a misunderstood creature? Now, that's a question that has been boggling minds for decades. This eerie entity, described as a large, winged humanoid with glowing red eyes, has become the stuff of legend, particularly in the small town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia. One theory that has gained considerable traction is the idea that the Mothman is a supernatural entity, a harbinger of doom that appears before disasters. Proponents of this theory argue that the Mothman sightings in the late 60s were a warning of the impending Silver Bridge collapse, a tragedy that claimed the lives of 46 people. The fact that the sighting ceased following the collapse lends a chilling credence to this theory. But as with all things supernatural, there's a healthy dose of skepticism to consider. Could the Mothman merely be an unusual creature, misunderstood and feared due to its strange appearance? Or perhaps it's all just a figment of overactive imaginations, fueled by fear and uncertainty. Enter John Keel, a journalist and ufologist, who thrust the Mothman into the spotlight with his book, The Mothman Prophecies. Published in 1975, this book delves into the strange occurrences in Point Pleasant during the 60s, including the numerous Mothman sightings and the Silver Bridge disaster. Keel's book, while not conclusively proving the existence of the Mothman, certainly immortalized the legend. It painted a vivid picture of a town gripped by fear, a monstrous creature, and a prophecy that came to pass in the most tragic of ways. Whether you're a believer in the supernatural or a hardened skeptic, there's no denying that the Mothman legend has left an indelible mark on popular culture. It's become a symbol of the unexplained and the unknown, a chilling reminder that there are things in this world that we may never fully understand. The Mothman remains an enigma, a chilling chapter in the annals of the supernatural. So the next time you find yourself wandering the back roads of West Virginia, keep your eyes peeled. You never know what might be lurking in the shadows. The Mothman's legacy lives on in the hearts and minds of those who dare to believe. This enigmatic creature, first sighted in the 60s, has persisted in our collective consciousness, inspiring a plethora of cultural references. It has been the muse behind numerous books, each delving into the depths of this chilling legend. attempting to decipher the truth hidden in its shadows. The silver screen too has not been untouched by the Mothman's influence. Movies have been crafted around this eerie entity, reflecting our fascination and fear of the unknown. But perhaps the most tangible testament to its legacy is the annual Mothman Festival held in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. This celebration is a testament to the enduring intrigue of the Mothman, drawing enthusiasts from around the globe each year. The Mothman, a creature of terror or a misunderstood omen, the mystery continues to unfold. Its legacy, like its enigma, remains undiminished, forever a part of our cultural folklore.